We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us on television, Owen Schroyer is behind the yellow tape off of Montopolis Drive in southeast Austin with a live feed of the third bombing. The third bombing since March 2nd, the second bombing today. There was a bombing on March 2nd. There were two bombings today, including fatalities. Breaking on Infowars.com. Third explosion in Austin, Texas, from suspicious package. Well, it's a bomb, yes. Live video is on Infowars.com. Live video feed on the scene of the third bombing. We're dispatching reporters to the bombing that happened this morning. This just happened a few hours ago. We have live coverage at Infowars.com. Live video coverage on the ground at the bombing. There's not other media there. By the way, the crew came in here at the start of the broadcast. They came in here during the last break. They said, Alex, why are you not covering the top story on DrudgeReport.com? A second bombing in Austin, Texas, of completely innocent targets, old ladies in Northeast Austin. And I just get so focused on globalism and the big picture that I just was sad to hear this has happened. I hadn't really covered it, so I'm going to cover it now. Owen Schroyer is down there on the scene. Owen just always goes, that doesn't need me to, to direct him. I'm getting ready for my own show. Great. Let's send camera crews with him. This is big. We got camera crews to send people now. I guess I could go off air for a few minutes. Because now that they've reminded me this is going on, I'm like, yeah, we need to go cover this. We need to go live from the scene. And then, talk to folks. And then get Owen on. So we're going to do that. Breaking. Woman injured in second explosion reported in Austin today. EMS says. That's out of the Statesman. Emergency responders have been dispatched. And it has to do with South by Southwest, folks. So that somebody gets attention for that. To a second reported explosion in Austin on Monday. Medics were sent to the 6700 block of Galindo Street near Montopolis and East Riverside. This is like right here in the middle of Austin. In southeast Austin, and then there's been another one in northeast Austin. I guess medics took a woman only described as her 70s to Dell Seton Medical Center with serious, potentially life-threatening injuries. Another woman in her 80s was being treated for an unrelated medical issue. The incident marks the second reported explosion in the city on Monday, and the third in 2 weeks. An explosion, the first one was a test weeks ago. An explosion earlier in the day at the 4800 block of Old Fort Hill Drive in East Austin killed 17-year-old and injured a woman described in her 40s. Hours after the incident, interim police chief Brian Manley said the explosion appeared similar and likely related to another explosion in Northeast Austin on March 2nd. The Ides of March. Authorities on Monday also warned residents against taking suspicious packages inside their homes. The incidents are being investigated by police and federal authorities and homicide, the chief said. That's two bombings today and one back on March 2nd, a week ago. And I don't know who's behind it, but I know that we're going to Mike Adams about massive censorship. This is critical coming up at the moment. He's busy on a business trip, but I twisted his arm to come on because this is important. We're going to him in a minute. This is breaking. The Huffington Post ran stories last week, as well as the local paper, saying that violence by anti-gentrification groups is good. Can you guys pull that Huffington Post article up particularly? I think it's like anti-gentrification groups now, now turning to violence. And it says in the article, I texted it to you, Dario, over the weekend, how good it is. It's like they're not going to take whites moving into their neighborhood kindly, and then it's weird white liberal women, communists, leading the minorities. And then here in Austin, the Blue Cat Cafe had some little trailers in an empty parking lot with two liberal women that have a cat shelter, and they come out and protest them and then put super glue in the locks so the cats couldn't be fed and knock the windows out. And the Statesman said it was good, and the Patch articles said, oh, Jones got involved, but, this gentrification is a problem, and now the city's going to pass a gentrification law of a right to return. Where, if you're white and you own a property, you have to go to the city now about who you can sell it to and for what, so they can kind of mafia over it. And, I mean, East Austin was about 80% black under Jim Crow laws. But just like East Texas, family I've got, it's a brain drain. Everybody goes to college or they move away, and then crime and old folks are in the area, and Section 8 housing. So the left gave itself all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars in Austin. They move in, they build it all up, they run it. Friends of the city council mafia make money, and now they induce yuppies to move in, and now they're going to have a white tax. And it says Portland and other cities have this white tax. And you pay it. It has nothing to do with displaced black people. By the way, it was the illegal aliens that displaced them. Anti-gentrification protest turns violent in East Austin. Yeah. Oh, it turns violent. And again, those are some of the articles. But can you put the Huffington Post one up there, please? The Huffington Post comes out and says it's good that they're violent. A new generation of anti-gentrification radicals are on the march in Los Angeles and around the country. And then it goes into how they're violent and how it's good. It says, again, Austin, Texas, California, you name it. It listed all right there. And they're communists. They have communist flags. They come out. They're led by rich white kids. And then they hit you over the head with clubs. And the media says it's good. So is this an anti-gentrification bombing? I don't know. I'm not saying that. That's just the violence being promoted, what we're seeing. I mean, these leftist groups say, if you see a white person, mug them. And you go, that sounds crazy. You can't go into these hippy-dippy, yuppie areas now in East Austin without somebody trying to mug you. And it's crazy. Antifa's all over there, communist, just thugs roaming around. And then all these idiot leftists, it's even been on the news, they go, I'm gay. Why did the 5 black guys beat me up? I'm liberal. Those are clips on local Fox News. And it's like, dude, you've been sent there to be the food in a social experiment. We're going to go to Mike Adams when we come back from break. He had his YouTube channel with hundreds of millions of views deleted. The Health Ranger. I know his YouTube channel was 6, 7, 8 years old, at least that I knew of. Some of our videos are on there with millions of views. It's just gone. He was told by executives at YouTube, that'll go unnamed, that no, because they won't tell him why he was banned. They say you violated community standards. He had a video about how there are 2 genders. You see professors getting fired or getting censured and all this stuff. And again, it means you hate someone if you're saying if you want to say you're another gender, that's fine. If you want to say you're a pink dragon or you're a golden dragon or you're a beautiful ornate building like Google executives do, if you want to say you're the Loch Ness Monster and the Easter Bunny or a flying purple people eater, you can do that. I don't hate you. I don't hate people that think, they're the Pope when they're not. We usually call that mentally ill folks. But there are 2 genders. There are 2 different groups of chromosomes in male and female in every major species. So I understand they're trying to, make being heterosexual a bad thing. I mean, the left comes up in Whole Foods. I can't even go there. They'll say, how dare you have 3, 4 children? Or they'll say, F your family. Or look at your gross family. And so they're the radicals. They're the cult. They're the weirdos. And the people beneath them, the left is adopting whatever the new radicalization is. So they've gone from left being anti-war and anti-torture or whatever to being anti-free speech, globalist, lock everybody up, and let's go attack cat sanctuaries, and let's hit people in the head with bike locks, and let's do all this. So Mike Adams is coming up. His YouTube banned, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you can pull up the local news reports about the cat sanctuary vandalized. That's the article. But what's more important is you've got Huffington Post and the Austin American-Statesman saying it's good to go out and attack people. They tell the middle class and white people and others, gentrify, move in, help these folks, build it up. East Austin was like a wasteland. Every second house had nobody in it. I mean, it was like you drive down the road, I'd see killings and stuff over there because Access TV was based over there. I would see people on stretchers with blankets over there at least once a month. There were deaths every day. It was a hellhole. They've made it actually really nice, and they've got all this affordable housing, but that's not what it was about. It was about, then once you do that, you use the real liberals that mean well, try to bring wealth to areas. You then call it gentrification, and then you make everybody clash. And then the other whites that are in the area go under Stockholm Syndrome and join the Antifa and the communist group to literally wear armbands and say, I hate white people, I'm in the club. And the minorities are like, we're not into this, but it doesn't matter. The media covers it like that's what it's supposed to be. Totally sick. We're going to go to break, come back to Mike Adams. I've got an free shipping today. The biggest sales ever, 30 to 80% off in the Save the First Amendment special we've been running for almost 2 weeks. It's got to end. InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139. Defeat CNN's attempt to crush InfoWars special. Operation Paul Revere 2018 is about to end. 50% off Biome Defense, Super Male Vitality, and so much more. Our prebiotic fiber is about to sell out. Best source fiber. It's amazing. 50% off and so much more. Brain Force, huge discount. Cell Force, Alpha Power. It's all there. InfoWarsStore.com. Knockout, the ultimate sleep aid. Ladies and gentlemen, Owen Schroyer, host of the War Room, is live off of Montopolis, very close to our office's warehouse. Our broadcast studios are in a different area in central Austin, but our warehouse is in South Austin, near to the bombing. And this is the third bombing, second today, third since March 2nd. And again, Owen is live streaming right now on Infowars.com and Newswars.com. He is at the scene. There was just shots of FBI agents, you name it. We'll be talking to him next hour. Mr. Robinson attacked by Antifa viciously. Incredible footage. That's coming up to give us the rest of the story next hour. But Mike Adams is on the road. He's a technology expert, the health ranger, so much more, a top programmer. He's meeting right now. He's left Austin. He's in another location, about to launch his own big video platform because he was banned after hundreds of millions of views and many years on YouTube for saying there are two genders and having clips of professors and scientists saying that in mammals there are two genders. It doesn't hurt anybody that there are two genders. Like, does it hurt anybody that water boils at a certain temperature, or thing, or 2 + 2 = 4? He was banned, all part of this purge. And thousands of channels have not been brought back. You put enough attention on InfoWars that our channel and others came back. Dr. Corsi's came back, but not Mike Adams of naturalnews.com. So he's here to talk about this and what his YouTube sources told him, because there are some patriots in YouTube, and we've talked to him as well. Now, BuzzFeed says it's not true. YouTube doesn't talk to us. And I guess the president doesn't talk to us either, because you just said so because you're BuzzFeed. But the point is, he got this, and they go, well, tell us your source. Oh, so they can be fired? Everybody knows our sources because our news turns out to be accurate 99% of the time, instead of 99% of the time not being true from CNN. So people know our sources. We don't give them to you. So Mike Adams, because we're protecting him. It's what you do in journalism. Mike Adams of naturalnews.com. Tell us what happened. This is incredible. I mean, I hadn't looked at your site in a few days when this happened. I think didn't it have hundreds of millions of views. Hadn't you been on YouTube for like 7, 8 years? Give us the history of this huge compendium of research and knowledge that was top linked all over the web. I mean, you run one of the biggest health sites in the world. I think only behind maybe Mercola. I mean, you're in the top 3, and they're just dynamiting you. And you're really a nonpartisan guy. I mean, you didn't like George Bush.
More than 10,000, more than 1,700 videos, 10 years of videos, over, I think, 350,000 subscribers. And yeah, we covered how to prevent cancer, how to grow your own food, how to raise backyard chickens. And plus, I'm a pro-liberty voice. And what I am being told now is from a person who I can't verify who they are, but they claim to be a YouTube insider, who said that my channel was taken down because I said there were two genders. It was outrageous. I thought at first I was banned because I was pro-liberty. I wasn't sure. They tell you violate community guidelines, but they don't tell you which video violated or which phrase violated. You know, they claim if you disagree with a leftist, you're a bully. So if you say there are two genders now, you're a bully just for not believing there are an infinite number of genders and flying dragon kin, human rainbow unicorns. It's insane, Alex.
It's a war against logic. And let me be clear, because you were clear then before about the source. And I guess you don't want to get anybody in trouble, but we have YouTube sources. We have Facebook and Twitter. We've recorded them, because some of them said they don't mind if we tell, because these aren't sources that like us, some of them. We have several recordings of a high-level person at Twitter and Facebook where they call us and they said, if you say the T word again, you will lose your Twitter. And we have it recorded. We go, excuse us, the word tranny was created by transsexuals, and now in 2017, Twitter said, it decided, the executive, it was offensive. So now that word's banned. You must use the word transsexual. I mean, they're not the FCC. Plus, I'm not even attacking anybody. They're saying what words I can use. So we have them recorded telling us that if you say the word, you will be banned. And you have the professors and people getting fired or being censured if they say there are two genders. So this is setting the precedent with all the transhumanism coming out, the chipping, all this, that if you even talk bad about any of it, you will be silenced. This is the new global system. I always heard in church when I was a little kid and didn't believe it that there'll be a one world government, one world religion. And if you don't accept whatever that religion is, you'll be banned from commerce. Well, here we are with the Internet ID and this whole future, Mike Adams, and the Chinese model of this global, social score, like something out of, a Black Mirror episode. And you're sitting there and they're doing it. And then once they get you where you can't say, certain things, well, then they can ban everything. They have total control, Mike.
Well, absolutely. And by the way, my channel was called The Health Ranger for people who want to try to find it now. I mean, it's still gone, but maybe we can pummel YouTube on this. But look, they're saying that you can't quote biological reality. You can't say that men produce sperm. You can't say that women have ovaries. I mean, just now citing biological science has become a thought crime in America. If you say there are two genders, if you quote chromosomes, if you cite the science textbooks that are in schools but are probably being rewritten now, you are banned. You are basically criminalized for believing in reality. And Alex, this comes from a position, YouTube is actually weak. They're bullying us because their positions are weak. They can't survive a debate. They can't survive any kind of actual conversation about reality. They can't win in the idea of reason, so they have to censor their opponents. That's what this is. They're admitting that they have lost, they're admitting that they're weak, and they have to destroy their opponents rather than engaging them in intelligent conversation.
The Church of Scotland came out last Friday. There's a story on Infowars.com with the headline, Church of Scotland says some women have small penises, some men have vaginas. And folks, this is being taught to children by the church in official literature, for the Sunday school, you name it, being put out as doctrine. So I know this sounds very profane on air, but this is documentary. We are documenting it. Some women have little penises. That's the exact quote. Says Scottish Church. That's the national church, Church of Scotland. Church member feels, again, that some men have vaginas and some women have small penises, claims the Church of Scotland in a 30-page booklet. So this is total mental illness, just like the nurse got in trouble earlier this year at the National Health Service because a man with a beard with large muscles and tattoos came in and said, I want a pap smear of my cervix. And she went ahead with it and pulled his pants off and said, sir, you have male genitals. And last time I heard, she may be fired for not going, oh, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, let me check your cervix here. Let me do a pap smear for any type of diseases on a man. I mean, where is this going, Mike?
Well, this is all about you have to play pretend now in the ever-expanding insanity of the left, and you can never keep up. That's the thing. Even if you agree to go along with their political correctness today and speak their weird, distorted language and use all their weird, distorted pronouns, they change next week. And now, if you don't keep up with the change, all of a sudden, you're a bigot, even though you were okay last week, but now you're a bigot because you didn't say je or ja or she in the correct way. It is absolutely insane. Alex, they're not just destroying the culture, they're destroying language, they're destroying logic and reason, and the universities today are not teaching kids how to think. They're teaching them how to conform and be obedient and be terrorists, frankly. Universities have become terrorist recruiting hubs for leftists.
And by the way, you're not just saying that. When Google makes you get an amphitheater with their executives, and an executive goes, I'm a beautiful female dragon, I am a beautiful ornate building, and they go, you are a beautiful dragonette, you are an ornate building. That is Jim Jones cuckoo level on purpose. This is classic cult programming.
It is. That's why I've called it a left cult. This is dangerous. They demand obedience. They're censoring free speech. They want to take away your First Amendment, your Second Amendment, your Fourth Amendment. Hey, people, if there was ever a time to stand up and resist this insanity and defend your nation, it is right now. The war is on. Alex, everything that's happening, this censorship is being done as a prelude to something much bigger, maybe an all-out attempted communist takeover like a Stalinist.
They are definitely hyping their people up for militaristic action. They are all, you're going to prison, you're going to die when I see them in public. I mean, they are spoiling. They are, because again, once they accept to do whatever the media says to be politically correct, they can the next day say, well, just start killing people, and they will because they believe they have the moral right to do it. This is scientifically crafted.
They will, absolutely. This has been done before in history, and they know that if there's enough anger pushed out there by the late-night so-called comedy or left-wing news, if there's enough anger, it bypasses rationality, bypasses logic, and it turns young leftists into literally a lunatic liberal mob of wannabe killers. And that's why they're attacking people. But you know what? We're going to fight back because we have the right to self-defense, and we have the right to defend.
That's right. Are you ready to announce the new video site? Because a bunch of these are launching. Some are getting millions of subscribers day one. I know yours will. You're going to carry our content. Can you tell us yet the new name of the site?
The teaser, it's up there now, real.video. You can ask for an invitation. It's coming. Real.video is the site.
You have done well, Lord Vader. Oh, I love it. Do what must be done, Lord Adams. We're going to go to break and come right back. We got Owen Schroyer on the ground at the second bombing. That's not a laughing. Third bombing in Austin for South by Southwest. Is Antifa behind it? I smell a little Antifa boobies. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching us on television, Owen Schroyer is behind the yellow tape off of Montopolis Drive in southeast Austin with a live feed of the third bombing. The third bombing since March 2nd, the second bombing today. There was a bombing on March 2nd. There were 2 bombings today, including fatalities. Breaking on Infowars.com. Third explosion in Austin, Texas, from suspicious package. Well, it's a bomb, yes. Live video is on Infowars.com. Live video feed on the scene of the third bombing. We're dispatching reporters to the bombing that happened this morning. This just happened a few hours ago. We have live coverage at Infowars.com. Live video coverage on the ground at the bombing. There's not other media there. The police are being very, very rude to Owen, telling him even get back from the yellow tape. The FBI was not like that. They are searching the houses, house to house. They've cordoned the neighborhood back 2 blocks. This is unprecedented. So a lot of breaking news there. We'll cover it some in the next segment with live feed, and then go to Tommy Robinson, who's just flown back into the UK. He's been going to Islamic no-go zones. The police obviously coordinated Antifa to attack him and his female reporter, who then defeated the 10 thugs who ran in fear. You cannot make up the magnitude of this. Mike Adams of naturalnews.com. You're normally in Austin tonight. Your operations are based here, but you are off now setting up a major new video streaming service. What do you make of this? Well, let me just make this statement. Is Antifa behind the third bombing? Here's the question. Is Antifa behind the now third bombing in Austin, Texas? They're violent. They call for violence. They call for attacking gentrification, any old white people moving in to East Austin. And you have 3 bombings that have happened. They also say old Hispanics or old blacks. If you're not from the neighborhood, you're not wanted. I'm just saying I think that they should be investigated because they are a terror group. They're listed as a terror group. They call for violence. They've attacked the Blue Cat Cafe, a cat sanctuary. I believe they're prime suspects. And that is not a conspiracy theory to say a known violent group that's been calling for violence against gentrification, and you have 3 bombings. I think they're prime suspects. I'm not saying they did it, but I think that's a normal extrapolation. What do you think, Mike Adams?
Until we know more details, yeah, that's a reasonable speculation. Obviously, that can change when more facts are known. But look, remember when CNN doxed that elderly woman who had posted something about pro-Trump? She is the kind of person, I believe, who would be typically targeted by Antifa-style domestic terrorists because CNN demonizes those people. CNN goes out and essentially stalks people, turns them into targets for a group, Antifa, which has said it wants to use violence. They're very overt about it. They're not, covert. They want to kill conservatives. Now, whether this bombing is that or maybe just some personal vendetta against a couple of individuals is yet to be known. But it fits the pattern, Alex, of what Antifa promises to do to conservatives and political targets across America.
Well, I know you're busy, but if you'll write an article about your site being taken down and the fact that other sites are still down, I'd like to point out this has happened to thousands of prominent sites that did not come back. And the only person that seems to care is Matt Drudge and InfoWars, because we understand if you hang, we'll hang separately, my friends. We need to hang together. So again, please, I know you're a busy guy, but if you write an article for nationalnews.com, we will post it at InfoWars, News Wars, and I will try to send it out to everybody I can. We're trying to have other people that have still been banned on because, you know, we understand it's you today, it's us tomorrow. And finally, Breitbart and Daily Caller realize that and have finally come to our aid as well because, you know, if they get banned, I'll stand up for them as well. So, Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex. Great to join you today. And just a reminder, all patriots, do not build your content on centrally controlled tech systems anymore. Always look for alternatives.
And that's the great Matt Drudge again that came here 2 years ago to say decentralize, get out of the electronic ghettos, the censorship's coming, the Supreme Court justice told him, and it's all here now. Even though Trump got elected, they're still trying to deploy it. We need to bust up these trusts. We need to get aggressive, and we are filing lawsuits very, very soon. Thank you, Mike Adams. We'll be back as the fight for the restoration of humanity's destiny continues.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
He goes to jail. He goes to jail. Lock him up.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
I can't hear you. You're a fucking anti-American. I'm an anti-American? Yeah. You stupid bastard. I'm a patriot.
I think we should classify them as a gang. You know, they come dressed in uniforms, they have weapons, they're almost a militia. I think we need to think about that in terms of our law enforcement approach.
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. On many sides.
Wait, on many sides? This was a white nationalist rally. You have to call that out by name.
Many sides? Mr. President, this is terrorism, not your order at KFC.
Prior to the unrest, police banned sticks, masks, and any other potential weapons. However, dozens of anti-fascist protesters broke those rules, it appears. They also pepper sprayed the leader of the Conservative group. One left-wing demonstrator attacked a photographer, and others reportedly threatened people who were trying to film the violence.
What about the alt-left that came charging at the, as you say, the alt-right? Do they have any semblance of guilt? Let me ask you this. What about the fact they came charging with clubs in their hands, swinging clubs? Do they have any problem? I think they do.
And they are just beating people, ganging up, men and women, ganging up on lone individuals and just beating them in a wanton, savage, brown shirt Nazi operation.
They don't want to mention Antifa and how Antifa literally came trained, militarized, doing warlike maneuvers. You know, they bring coolers and you think, oh, it's to stay hydrated. No, it's filled with water balloons, filled with feces, urine, just disgusting things that will pop and explode on people. And water bottles filled with the same substances.
Chill out. Stop filming it. I don't like being filmed. Yeah, he just got struck with pepper spray. By some irrational... a liberal helping him. We're not all like this. No, you see, the guy that attacked him is not a liberal. He's a Marxist.
Every time one of these situations happens, you know, you see the worst of people sometimes. I think we saw it out of the left.
You just saw those videos of them chasing and beating people in black clothing, black masks. Over 100 of them broke through the lines and attacked stragglers who were there. For the most part, the event was shut down. They couldn't find enough conservatives, so they started attacking the police after a while. But you saw them beating the conservatives, even as they come in carrying no hate signs. And the mayor said they made sure the themes of love and compassion dominated over hate speech.
Not to go home! Not to go home! Not to go home!
Supporters of President Donald Trump were vastly outnumbered by counter-protesters at Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center Park.
And then we saw that group with the masks on. They had their own, you know, shields that they made, for lack of a better term. A huge crowd there now.
And while we certainly don't know, and we'll try to find out, some of those protesters, the ones that showed up with the masks and the shields, may do this in other locations. They may be what you call professional protesters who do this a lot.
That's an American flag that they have set on fire.
This Trump supporter was the first casualty of the day, with blood streaming out of his face.
Well, they wanted to hit me with brass knuckles on the blind side. We're here for free speech.
A mob chased him for a block and a half, took his flag, Trump hat and glasses and spat all over him.
You know, I'm okay with people making white supremacists feel unwelcome. I mean, excuse me, like, you're making me feel unsafe in my own country because I'm a Jew.
Listen, everyone is saying, oh yeah, you can't listen to CNN no more. You can't listen to the news anymore because it's all fake. Bull crap. It wasn't fake before, so why is it fake now?
The Russia story has kind of died down on those sites.
Like, only because we're on the racism thing now.
Over a year in the making, produced by one of the top organic firms in the country, that if you want proven studies and documentation, I mean, I can speak for hours just on the files I have here, of what this is proven to do, the ingredients in this. This is the ultimate immune system boost for this time of year, any time of the year. But Immune Wall is incredible, and folks, other formulas that aren't even as good are $70, $80. It's a great deal at $39. Immune Wall, beta-glucans, olive leaf, and so much more. It is concentrated. You need to go read what is in here. The mushroom blend of the most expensive, highest quality mushrooms that just incredibly accelerate. A citrus peel blend. I mean, this is the next level. It's now available, ladies and gentlemen. Immune Wall. I think it's beyond seasonal. Beta, glucan, olive leaf, and more. Immune Wall, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com, or 888-253-3139.